So today we're going to talk about connotation and denotation, which is super important to our writing. Connotation and denotation has to do with your word choice. So you can see I've written some notes already here, and I would suggest that you go ahead and have your document up or a hard copy of it so you can take some notes. Your diction, and this is a word that we'll be using all throughout this term, is really your word choice. So you think diction, you think dictionary, those things come together, right? And so it's our choice of words as writers that really convey an emotion. It conveys a tone. It conveys what we're trying to say without actually saying it. So it has all of these layers to it when we are writers. So every word has a denotation, which is a dictionary definition, what you would find, and it has this connotation. It has this connection, this everyday use, and those connotations change throughout society, and words kind of change and develop. So a word like Google, right, of course, is like a search engine. That's dictionary definition, but when we say Google it, we really mean to look it up. Other words kind of have this as well, especially when we say something is like, oh, that's fire. Like, it doesn't mean that something's actually on fire as a dictionary definition, but you know that it means like, oh, it's phenomenal, it's amazing, it's all of these things. So two different ways. So we want to think about our word choice very thoughtfully, because there is not a wrong word. There's not a word that you shouldn't use in this type of writing or that type of writing. That's kind of silly to think of it that way, but you really want to think through what you want your readers to experience when they read this word. So we're going to practice this with like a positive connotation and a negative connotation, because we have words that, although dictionary says the exact same thing, we know that when we use them, people might hear them a bit differently. So for example, we have speedy or hasty, right? Hasty is kind of negative, so we put that over here, where speedy is like, oh, they're really speedy with their work, they get it done really quickly. Yeah, right? So positive would be doing something like, oh, they're firm, right? They're firm in their beliefs. Sorry, my typing is always horrific. But to say someone is unyielding, that means that they're kind of like stubborn, which is another kind of negative word. Then think about mild or bland, right? Positive is like mild. Oh, that's just mild. But some people that hear it, like me, who like really spicy food, would hear mild equals bland, right? Not enough flavor. Smell is another one versus stench. Although I would argue that smell is more like, I like to use an O for neutral, right? Positive, I kind of use like a plus sign for positive. Oops, that's the equal sign. There we go. And then negative, of course, a negative. Smell, I think, is more neutral, and neutral words are absolutely fine too. Sometimes you don't have to convey something really specific, and you just want to use kind of a neutral word, especially depending on what you're talking about. So sassy is probably viewed as negative, although like sometimes in different friend groups, it's like funny, right? Sassy Molassy. You can also take other words that, or even like phrases like shut up, right? Where if you'd be like, shut up, that would be mean, we didn't want to say it, but you're like, shut up, where you're talking to your friends, and that is a different set of tone. So trying to get tone across in writing is super tricky. What you are going to do is you're going to use several words from the chart here and write to a prospective employer, saying and using some of these words and talking about yourself in a positive manner. There's not anywhere more than a resume where word choice really, really matters, because you want to say that you are a leader, you want to say that you are efficient, you want to say that you are empathetic, right? All of these things that we know employers want, although we all know that there are some downsides to those traits as well. Then we're going to do this part together. So in the first paragraph below, we're going to look at those words who have a positive connotation, and then we're going to circle the words that have negative connotation. So here we have Miss Baxter has been a valuable employee. Oh, that's too long, right? She's had strong opinions. Her method of solving problems are sometimes unusual, right? In short, she's a real leader, not a show-off. Now, negative, I was surprised to get a birthday gift from my Aunt Joanna. She is an inquisitive person, right? Negative is a real snoop. She's asked many of my relatives what I must like. I tore the gaudy, right, paper package and found a shirt made of flimsy material, not delicate. It was covered with fussy embroidery and flashy sequins. It certainly was a strange present. right? So we can see by just changing certain words, it changes the whole appeal. And it's part of that showing and not telling, where I know a lot about Aunt Joanna from this small little snippet of what she gave. So I'm going to have you guys continue through this and replace some of these synonyms here, and then write a sentence using it. Feel free, of course, to use the dictionary or thesaurus. And again, these are just for practice for us, so that we are learning to use words in a powerful way and a really purposeful way as writers.